Okay, this is supposed to be just a summary of the merchant plant model. Okay, and I think I'm gonna put the oh, come on, I'm gonna make it go to the base case. Okay, I'm starting on a bad note. Now, what I have to do is press calculate now. It's kind of interesting. There's no fancy function, circular reference macros or anything else. It's just the fact to have a monthly model go so far and do so much on a monthly model just makes things very, very slow. So actually, let's just, I should have done this. Let's put our table of contents in. If it's not here, so I have to open the generic macros. Okay, and then I go to developer and better implement these generic macros. I really hope you're downloading this file, and I continually update this one. Now, if you go to the add-ins, it put the table of contents in there. Okay, now what this has, it's a table of contents is such an easy one. And look at this. Oh shoot! Oh no, I have to go back and fix this. Okay. Oh shit. Good, I saw this. So we have the summary page we just looked at. We're going to look at the assumptions, the monthly model, and I've discussed in another video how to kind of roll these up. But really, let's go to the summary thing here. Now, what you want to do is compare. See, now it's saying so it's working okay. You want to check different statistics. And with something like this, you really need to understand what kind of assumptions you're making in the future compared to the past, and particularly in the downside case, so and in by the way, in the downside case, you probably want to put some sort of break-even spark spread into the analysis, so you just keep pushing it up and down with a little spinner button. Now my problem is it's taking so long just to recalculate. Okay, but I'm not going to let that disappoint me too much, because what we'll do is look at the next page, control page down. Now what I did, oops, I have to fix this. I put a little thing that allows you to show the comments. You can look okay, I just fixed that. Okay, you can see how that works. I just posted another video, so oops. Okay, apparently, oh, here's if they show the comments. I didn't. Okay, and I tried to put a little thing on here. Now, I made a couple of things at the beginning, so if you press Control down arrow, you can see the various sections. I didn't put working capital in here, but I got most of the other stuff in. And we start with the dates, as usual, and then this one has post-COD, 1 month per period. That's what makes this thing so slow. I don't know what to say about this, really. And then we put in degradation on this thing, and the degradation keeps occurring on the capacity can degrade, and the heat rate can degrade. What I didn't do here is, you see this comes from the master scenario, so you just click on this, and the good news is at least that one worked pretty fast, so you can see the stuff that comes from this scenario page. Now we put a capacity factor in, and we began by saying, okay, how much do you run the plant, and then depending on how much you run the plant, you have to make an overhaul every 48,000 hours. When you make an overhaul, you get a big maintenance delay, And then you recover some of the heat rate. You recover it to, in this case, 95% of what it was at 4. You know, that might be really higher. Maybe this is let's put 98 and 97.5. If you're going to do something like this, press Shift Control P to do the and then we have a little bit of a forced outage rate of 1%. Here's our total cost. We spend a little time on the S curve, and I really hope that's not what. I can't imagine that's what's causing the problem. Okay, and then we have the different gas prices and the fuel prices. Now, if you really wanted to do something good, you'd probably add another break-even scenario below here and allow it to just probably hold the gas price constant and just push the electricity price up and down. Okay, and then we have some tax assumptions, and we put some taxes with the what do they call it? Makers. This is the modified accelerated recovery. I used to always put a half-year convention in here, but I've read up on the tax law. I think you can prorate the thing. Then we get to the financing assumptions. The big financing pain is if you make a monthly model. The first one, I use this formula text. I used to make these myself all the time. But this is the COD month. So then we say, okay, let's go 6 months out of this. 10 on your finger, end of 10. So 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, end of 3. That's 6. Whoops. Shit. End of 10. We issue it. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. That's 5 months. And then we repay it in month 9. Should this have been... keep going around. Should this have been 4? I'm not going to worry about this right now. I went around and around and around on this, and I'm going to have a separate video that goes through this. But, you know, if you have a... let's put the upside case in here. And I hope shit, if I messed this up. Okay, we have I hope it just gave us another month. And then we go 5 months from there, and then another 6 months or something, I hope. Okay, so COD month is at the end of the month. I think I missed I think I missed this by 1 month. I'm gonna try to change this like a goddamn idiot. 6. Okay, I think that's right. And I don't think this time we subtract 1. Okay. So, okay, I hope that's okay. God, I went around that so embarrassingly many times. Then we had the debt size, and we put I put a criteria, but we just, in this case, we used a simple debt size. We used a pro rata. The debt schedule is simply 10 years. This debt schedule is simple until you get to the 60% cash sweep. So you're going to pay off with an installment and add a 60% sweep. You could add a 30% sweep if you want. And then you're going to here are the rates and the fees. And we have a lockup account and a 12-month, let's put a 6 months DSRA, because I think that's what I used. Now, let's go through the model and see how these things are incorporated in the model. You first need to go, the date stuff is pretty standard. You've got the opening and closing dates and all this. And I'm going to close this so we can kind of see what's going on in the model. Okay. And we start with the plant characteristics. This is a big deal. Start with what the plant is doing physically. Don't try to get anything financial at all about revenues, expenses, capex, interest, nothing. Just how much is it operating. Start with how much the capacity is, see the capacity factor, and then see how much does it actually run because of availability. Then you can count the hours, accumulate the hours of operation, and eventually, when it gets up to 48,000 here, I think, 47, then we have a switch, and we use this mod function for a switch. That was a big trick in this. And then once you have this, when you have this outage, then we have a big 10-day outage. Okay, I don't know, maybe it could be more than 10. 10 seems like a quick. And then we go back. Our degradation has gone down and down and down, and then it goes up. It improves. And you have to do a little bit of calculation to get the improvement. I can't remember exactly. So our capacity went down from the original amount, and then after we do the overhaul, it went up. Similar thing for the heat rate. It's here was the heat rate before the degradation. Put the some kind of degradation in, and after the degradation, you know, if you have to do something quickly with a model, here's what you just select it and press F11. I hope this isn't going to mess everything up, pressing F11 with a big data series. I probably just shouldn't have done that. And then they don't show the scale, but you can see the effects of the degradation. Alt-EL to delete the graph. Okay, and then we, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Excuse me. Now we put the revenues and expenses. For the revenues, you start with how much are contracted revenues, and you split the contract revenues from the merchant revenues. You know, so if it's all contract, that's a nice, easy PPA. We could have done it with all contract. Maybe we should have done it. And then the merchant revenues, what's dangerous here is to make an assumption consistent with the history. And that's why there's that whole, all those files about really how much a revenue a merchant plant could have earned. Eventually, you also own capacity revenues, and I put a really high capacity price in there to kind of get the cash flows up. And then we have other revenues and finally get the total. Total expenses, well, you have the gas price, and we put in the heat rate and the gas price, and we get the total O&M operation, and then you get your EBITDA. For taxes, we put a nice little, put the depreciation using MACRS. Now, when it has a red one here, I did the same thing where we did the add-ins and sheet color. That means it took it from the assumptions page. This is a lookup function, and you look up on the you look up on the year. This should have said year right here, I think. And then you get the rate, and we get the accumulated depreciation. We need the accumulated depreciation for the balance sheet. You'll see that in a minute. Now, once you've done this, then you get into project financing. And the place to start is how much, it's kind of like a sources and uses. I call it funding needs. How much do you spend? And you do this period by period by period, and in the very last period you have this debt service reserve account. Then we can say, okay, out of all we spent, how much we're getting by debt. Now this one we did simply. We said let's just take a percentage of capex. And we said, okay, take this number and divide it by the sum. If we would have used the same analysis on this, we would have had a circular reference problem, because these things depend on the debt. These things depend on the debt. And if you want to see how to, oops, it says red screen down there. Excuse me. And now we have the debt equity is always kind of the remainder, just like it is in the cash flow statement. You know, you could almost put a double underline. That's like the dividends are the last thing in the sources and uses. And then for the repayments, well, we had a 10-year debt, and so we multiplied by 20 periods, and this is how much repayment you had each period. And I just screwed it up by not putting it in. That's why I had to do that stupid thing. I shouldn't have done that. God damn it. But I'm going to leave it now. We have these occurring every 6 months. Now that's where it starts to get horribly painful. And up here, you see the repayment switch. So what we needed to do was, I think I'm going to make a whole new video on this. And in this whole new video, I'm going to lay out the kind of beginning and ending month much more carefully, so we get all the way to the end. That's the trick, okay? And I might have to modify this file. You'll find this file on the internet, of course, on my website, edbodmer.com. Okay, so where was I? Well, I was moaning. I have a right to moan about that one. Okay, we're doing this so we can roll up everything into monthly and annual and semi-annual, whatever you want. Now, when you put the opening balance here, this amount of repayments occurs every 6 months. Of course, it shouldn't have occurred that very first time. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to fix that. And then we add the cash flow sweep prepayments. Now, whenever, here's the rule. I'm going to repeat it like 10 times. But the rule is there's no complicated formulas when you got to go down and get the cash sweep or anything else. Those come from the cash flow statement, not the other way around. All the min-max percentage covenant test, every test has to be down in the cash flow. You don't know how much to do here until you have the cash flow. So that's the idea. And then we have the periodic interest rate, and we can get the interest accrued for the income statement, which is on a monthly basis. We can split that into interest during construction and interest expense. And then here's what we need. We need to say, okay, let's take, if we start this model here, oh shit, I don't want to even talk about this. I shouldn't have. I'm going to have to change it back to the way I had it, and then I'm going to have to look at it a little more carefully. Okay. 5, 5, and this was -1. I need to count on my fingers. I need to learn how to count on my fingers, obviously. Furious at myself right now. But now we have scheduled repayments occurring. I think you need to just draw this out. And if you look at the debt balance calculation, you make this every 6 months and it goes down. Now, once you do this, you can look at the how much interest is accrued and paid. The interest accrued is just monthly. No, it isn't. The interest accrued is yes. This is just the interest accrued. This just goes on the balance sheet because you put the income statement on monthly interest on a monthly basis. Not a big deal, that one. The debt service account is the big pain. You first say, let's take 187 and let's take the interest over the entire debt service period. That's where I had stopped before. And this is just the interest requirement over debt service period. It's the H187, that's the interest rate, multiplied by the 172, multiplied by the repayment switch just when you're in the bond, and 172 is just the opening balance. So this is just the semi-annual interest. This is a way to get the semi-annual interest just from the opening balance. And then the repayment going forward and collecting the repayment was one of the most painful things. I tried sum ifs, I tried sum and offsets, I tried all sorts of things, and then I just did a simple sum that worked. Okay, I'll explain that one and go work through all the details in a whole set of videos called cash flow waterfall videos. And then you get the total payment, and that payment it just occurs during this thing. And I don't think I kind of explained the repayment period. We put the two different periods, and I counted to make sure that we have the right periods. And we said, well, first of all, it's got to be part of the repayment term. And then either if it's this, if the month is this, or the month I'm not showing the month is that, then we put true, otherwise false. And then you can keep the formulas down from these damn long things that some of these fancy modelers show. Okay? You really don't need a long formula, even for some of these painful calculations. Okay? So where were we? So then we've got the prospective debt service, and then we have the interest accrued account we just talked about, and then we see, well, how much do we have to put in to our debt service reserve account? And to do that, we start with how much we need, and then we see, well, how much have we put in already? The accumulated opening balance determines that, and then you need to know how much is left to put in. So in the first period, we have this much left to put in. We took all of our cash flow and threw it into this account. That gives this account at the end. By the next period, I hope we had enough here. By the next period, we had this balance, we put in this amount, and then eventually, we didn't put enough in. We had a default. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this, and this is even in the upside case. Oh shit! I'm going to put in a real low debt. And why it seems to be going faster now? Explain that. Somebody can explain that to me. Good. So we'll explain it a little bit more. We needed a total of this much in this period. Then it went to this much. Then it went to this much. That's how much we needed. Now what this does is it demonstrates the whole cash flow waterfall process. And then we push this into, we deposited this, and then at the end we only need to put 140 in. Excuse me. We had this much. We only needed 140, so we put this in. And then we took this out. Okay. Okay, and then we put a cash sweep account in. If we have anything left, we sweep it. And we're going to only sweep it if we have something left over. And you can see here, once you get out here, you can sweep more of it. And it's just going through all of this. Now, here's the real thing. Each of these, the cash deposited, and the amount you pay, and the cash deposited, and the amount you pay, they all are single things. I'm looking at the formula bar. They're all single formulas, and they come from a simple little calculation in the cash flow account. Now, the DSRA account isn't all that different. We need to figure out how much to put in first, before the COD. That's the biggest pain. Once you have this, you need to see how much balance you need. You take the starting balance and see how much you need to put in. The amount you need to put in is the prospective debt service that we just kind of computed. And then you put some top-ups, and you get some closing balances of the account. And they're supposed to always stay there. Now, if you have a downside case, we're going to have to take the amounts out of this. But like everything else, we won't take those out until we know. Let's see if we have to take anything out here. Come on. Maybe that's what just takes it so long if we switch this. So, whoops. Okay. And It seems that we didn't have to take anything out. Good, that's good news. That's because I lowered the amount of debt so much. And then we can lock up dividends. Now, this one we must have had a coverage ratio that was less than our test, so we don't allow the dividends, and we only allow the dividends, in this case, at the very end when you finally pass the test. So this illustrates how to go through account by account, and every single one, every single one comes from the cash flow statement. And then I should have put the dividend distribution account, and it's exactly the same. These come from the cash flow statement. We see how much cash we can put in the account, and then we take it out. Okay, and then we have our profit and loss statement, which I've gone through so much, it's okay. But then, let's go and find our COD. I love this formatting on the COD. Maybe you can make it somehow flexible so it switches on and off, but certainly for checking the model, I think it's pretty good. So in this case, we had all the cash flow. We took it all out for this account. And I hope that we had enough to, is this enough? You know, we take it out. Okay, and we could have a default in this case if we don't have enough to take out. Okay, and then we go to the next one and top it up, and next one and top it up, and I'm going way too fast on this. I got to go slowly. So we start with a cash flow before debt service, and then we use a minimum because we have the thing where we said how much do we have to put in. We're not going to put in more than we have to. That's why we took that remaining balance. And then this debt service is straight from the amount. Now, we're assuming it's all getting paid, because if it doesn't get paid, we'll have a default. We'll work that below. Then we say, okay, well, if you've got this a positive, so that's why we use a maximum here. Then we'll see what percentage is swept, and then we take the opening balance minus anything that was paid. Okay. Okay, now this seemed to work a little bit better. Okay. Okay. No, this really just sucked. Why did what happened here? Okay. Well, I'm going to have to go to my formulas and calculate balance sheet. Okay. All right. Okay, fine. I'm getting kind of frustrated by all this, but what the heck? So then we see how much cash is left over, and then in this case, we didn't have any from the first period. We got to put it in and then take it out, and then you see, well, do you have to get any? Can you get anything from DSRA account? And finally, you see if you have to withdraw something from the DSRA account, and everything is with min-max, or max-min. And again, we're going to go, there's going to be, I'm repeating myself, this is important enough, I think, and I don't really have this horrible kind of thing where you do it monthly and then go from monthly upwards. We're going to do this in a separate set of videos, okay? And then finally we have the DSRA, the project life coverage ratio. LLCR is computed as the present value of all the CFADS, and the present value of the CFADS, the way I like to do it, was with a sum product and a divide sign, okay? And finally, we put in all the balances, and now look at all these balances we have for all these accounts. And that, with all of those accounts, you know, you can put those roll those up to the balance sheet. And oh shit, I saw that there's a difference. I swear there wasn't a difference just before. Okay, well, look at that and fix that and get all that right. You know, when you have this, you say, oh God, where's this 140 coming from? And I just thought I saw it. There was 140. Debt service account. It's something funny going on in that account. Damn. Okay. And I'm so sick of this. I'm gonna stop. Okay, and I'm gonna put it there. How about, do I have the same problem in the base case? You know, and that was very upsetting. That balance sheet really is upsetting. Oh man, I'm gonna start to cry. It was all working perfectly, and I probably put the stupid thing. So what? In the base case, we don't have anything. What that means is we have some kind of problem with our month calculation. That's where it all comes from. I can almost be sure. I'm gonna look at that off the video, and I'm gonna stop this video now, because I'm fed up with this model. It's just this monthly stuff does slow you down. It looks all fancy. It doesn't give you much of a different result, but I suppose it shows you exactly how that cash flow process works, and how you should use the min-max, how you need subtotals, how you need to put all these accounts up at the same time you work through the cash flow waterfall. All right, that's enough discussion of the merchant plant